Hi guys, I know I have not recorded a video in a while, but that's also because I feel like I haven't really had much to talk about because recently, instead of being on fire for God, like I was in the beginning, I've kind of steadied it down, and he's been a part of who I talk to every day, like a best friend, but nothing really interesting or anything has happen for me to figure out what to talk about and stuff like that. But I have started Bible study groups every Tuesday with my friends, so hopefully I can post every Tuesday and stay kind of consistent like that, because I can just talk about what we did within Bible studies. And also, I wish I could go to church every Sunday, but some Sundays I am down at my dad's and stuff, and it's just I still pray every single night, and I still have God in my life, and I hope that every single person watching this still includes God into their life, and hopefully I can be more consistent with posting because I love to post. Today we will be talking about, anxieties and not letting fear keep you away from being close to God. And the fear of certain things not getting in the way. I have a verse in Philippians 4:11 through 7. Well, 4:11, and then it's 4 through 7. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say, rejoice. Let your moderation be known unto all men. The Lord is at hand. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Those things which ye have brought, which ye had both learned and received and heard and seen in me do, and the God of peace shall be with you. But I rejoiced in the Lord greatly that now at the last of your care of me hath flourished again, wherein ye were also careful, but ye lacked opportunity. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am therewith to be content. So what this is basically describing, where it says, wherein ye were also careful, but ye lacked opportunity, to me is describing how certain fears, even small things, can get in the way of so many opportunities. If you are scared to do something, if you're scared to, apply for a job interview, then you might not get the opportunity for the job, or, just certain things. If you're scared to talk to someone, then that person won't be your friend because you've never talked to them, It's certain things, especially if you are afraid to open up to the Lord and talk to God, then you will not get that opportunity because you're letting your fears get in the way. And I love in Philippians 4:11, 5, it says, let your moderation be known unto all men, the Lord is at hand. Which I love that because it kind of implies, that God wants you to be that type of person who, when you walk into a room, there's no anxiety, and there's joy, and there is moderation, and people can see that you are, a follower of Jesus, and that you are joyful and wonderful and amazing. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving let your requests be made known unto God, which this verse kind of reminds me of, don't fear like everything, or something like that. Instead pray about everything, or it was like, don't worry about anything, instead pray about everything. And of course we're human, we still have to like make our own decisions, but if we go to the Lord with them, He will help us plant the seed in that decision. He will help us with those decisions. He will give us advice for those decisions, and let us be careful with certain decisions, and our requests will be taken. Don't feel guilty if you want to ask the Lord for something, if you want to ask Him for a certain person or a certain thing in your life. Just, there's a difference between giving thanks and requesting versus needing and wanting and having greed over something. But the Lord will take your requests as long as it is down the path that He knows that you need to go down. Another verse, Proverbs 14:7. Okay. Here it is. These verses kind of describes to surround yourself around those who do good and those who are a follower of Christ. And that is not saying that you should completely cut out non-followers out of your life, or people who are going down the wrong path. And you should give them advice, but you should also close your ears when you are around them, and your eyes, and not seek advice from them. And you should keep your heart pure, and because you need to seek wisdom, and truly the Lord needs to be your first priority. And if someone is taking you farther from the Lord, you don't want to try to be around that. And it is okay to help certain people, but God is the only person who can truly help them and plant that seed, and you need to allow that person room to find God themselves too, because God might want to meet them alone and not when you are in the way. Proverbs 14:7. I also highlighted 6:2, so 14:6-7. Sconer seeketh wisdom and findeth is not, but knowledge is easy unto him that understandeth. That is basically describing that, it is easy to understand knowledge if you learn, and, everyone can have knowledge if they try and stuff, but if you truly seek wisdom, then that is like the true key. And then in 7 it says, go from the presence of a foolish man when thou perceivest not in him the lips of knowledge. Now, that is describing that you must go away from foolish men, foolish women who, don't speak wisdom, and they aren't wise, and thou shalt not perceiveth not in him the lips of knowledge. That is saying not to take advice from that person. Now, God obviously tells us to forgive, but He also wants to keep our hearts and ears and eyes pure. And if someone is not, then He would rather have us have a well and wisdom-filled relationship with Him and ourselves. because God will help that person, but it is not completely your job to help that person. And do not help someone at the expense of your relationship with God. Now, this other one is in Proverbs, so I'll just skip to that. Proverbs 31:10 through 13. Okay. Now, this is speaking how to not only be a child of God, but also to be a good wife and a good husband. It says, who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth a field, and buyeth it with fruit of her hand. She planteth a vineyard. And I'll also go to 17. I've gone far enough. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengthen her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. Now, this whole passage to me I love, because you don't only want to be a child of God, but you also want other people to see that you are a follower of God, and you want to be the light of God to others around you. So when it says, the heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. So that right there is describing how she needs to be trustworthy. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands, which I love 15. I love this one verse. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens, describing how a good wife is gracious, and she brings the man good and is generous, sharing out of kindness, and takes care because she gets to, using the things God gives her. If you trust the Lord, you are provided for, like when it says, her candle goeth not out by night. So her candle does not go out at night because she is doing everything the Lord wants her to, and out of the kindness of her heart, not because it's a chore and she feels like she has to. And that is just proving to God, when you do those things, that you are a follower, and you are not sinning as if you truly, like, deep down, I've said this in all my other videos, but, God is the only one that can see your true heart. And this just follows back to everything that we were talking about, is to be careful who you surround yourself with. Also includes, who you marry and who you date, because you don't want a wife or a husband who will bring you damage. You want one that will bring you peace and kindness and generosity. And then last verse I have for this Bible study is Colossians 4:18 through 19. I think I skipped it. Oh, here we go. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as it is fit in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives, and be not bitter against them. Describing how, men should also treat their wives. And, those verses are short, but just one thing that I would like to say to end this Bible study off is that, if you have an ungodly relationship without God being in the center, then it shall fail, because God is love. In Corinthians it says, God is love, love does not boast, love is not jealous, love is kind, all these things. And that is where God is the center of. So if you do not have God in the center of your love life, whether it is relationships, friendships, family, then you will not have a good foundation on that, because God is the foundation of love, and all of those things. So truly, what I am getting and saying from this Bible study is that if you be careful who you surround yourself with, and if you do surround yourself with godly people who know God and who know how to love, because if you don't have God, God is love, and if you don't have him, then you don't know love, and you won't know how to love someone. Then if you have godly centered people, then you will not have your candle go out at night, and you will be provided for and fulfilled in life. And that does not say that you will not go through storms, but that just means that your boat will not sink, because God will provide for you. And God is love, and God will give you loving relationships, friendships, and family if you have him at the center of it. Thank you for watching.